Family. Wow, where to start? Colin Kaepernick and his refusal to stand for the national anthem. First of all, let me say I applaud him in his protest. Having said that, it has been said, mostly by white people, basically that he should just sit down because he was adopted by white people and has pretty much had a privileged life. This is true. But this is not the first time that this has happened. You see, a few thousand years ago, my ancestors were suffering similar circumstances under the Egyptians. And there went out a decree by Pharaoh to kill all the male children. But one male child was spared by his mother, who put him in the river in an ark. And Pharaoh's daughter took him in and adopted him. And he was raised as an Egyptian, even though he was an Israelite. So he lived a life of privilege. Yet and still, in spite of all the privilege that he had, he took a stance against the very people that adopted him because they were oppressing his people. And if you know anything about biblical history, Pharaoh refused to honor his request. Yes, I'm talking about Moses, or to pronounce his name correctly, Moshe. He too was ostracized by the oppressors. But in the end, the Most High Yah heard his pleas and the pleas of his people who were being oppressed, and in turn destroyed Egypt, which is actually the house of bondage. It's correctly Mitzrayim. Anyway, there are parallels going on between what happened then and what's happening now. You see, us being Israelites, it was prophesied that we would go through what we are going through now. You can find the bulk of it in Deuteronomy chapter 28. But I find it ironic that whenever black people are moved to make a stand against oppression, we are always asked, or told rather, by white people, okay, have your protest, but make sure you protest peacefully and according to their rules. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time white people ever protested peacefully? I'll give you a couple of examples. White people were being oppressed by England. Did they respond by protesting peacefully? Hell no. That's why we have a war called the American Revolution. When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, did white people protest peacefully? Hell no. They declared war and subsequently dropped not one but 2 nuclear bombs on civilians who had nothing to do with the war that was taking place. The list goes on and on. Every time the white man feels that he's been done wrong, he responds with violence. As a matter of fact, the white man doesn't even have to be done wrong. He will respond with violence anyway because that's his nature. History proves this. It's irrefutable. It cannot be denied. And I challenge anyone to prove me wrong. So why is it that black people who have suffered at the hands of the white man in this nation or on this continent for over 500 years, we have been begging and begging and begging? When are we going to stop begging? We're the only people that have never responded or reacted by declaring war against our oppressors. Check the history, check the historical records. Point out one people besides us who have taken this type of treatment from oppressors without declaring all-out rebellion against them for it. It's getting ridiculous. Well, anyway, those are just my morning thoughts. Shalom.